Well friends, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel about making money online. On this channel, I show my workdays and demonstrate various strategies that I use in my work in the format of a regular live blog. And today, I will be working with a strategy that I recently found and tested. I will use 3 indicators and start with setting up the chart as usual. So, in my work, I'll be using 3 indicators as I mentioned before. The first indicator I will use today is Supertrend. I add this indicator to the chart, then go to the settings. Here, I increase the period to 12. In the second field, I enter the value 1.8. I don't change anything in the styles and just click the Save button. The next indicator I will use today is called ADX. I add it to the chart in the same way. Here I go to Settings, and in the settings, I increase both parameters to 16. That is, it was 14. I increase both the first and second parameters by 2 points. After that, I move to Styles, and as usual, I will use only the upper line of the ADX indicator. I disable the other 2 lines as I won't need them today. And finally, the third indicator that I will use today is the Fractals indicator. I add it to the chart, then I go to the settings. Here, I use a period of 2, and I don't change anything in the styles. So, I leave the standard settings, then click the Save button. Today, I will also be opening 1-minute trades, and to get the right signals, I am setting up the chart accordingly. I use a candlestick chart type and set 15-second candles here. I'm also preparing the trade duration right away. As I mentioned, today I will open 1-minute trades. And for my trade amount today, I will be using $300 US. Now, I can talk about how I work with this strategy. But before that, I remind you that in the pinned comment, I left a link to this platform that I'm working on right now. There is a completely free demo account available after registration, and on this demo account you can test this and any other strategy without any investments. Now I will explain the strategy itself. So I open the chart, set up all the indicators, and first of all I look at the indicator called ADX. This indicator shows the strength of the current movement. It doesn't matter where the movement is directed. It can be directed upwards or it can be directed downwards. The higher the value on the ADX indicator, the stronger the current movement is. And to make trades, I need the ADX indicator to show a value greater than 20. And if I see that the ADX indicator is currently above the value of 20, then I can consider this chart for entering trades. Then here is an important point. Since the ADX indicator shows the strength of both upward and downward movements, it can happen that, for example, the chart has been going up for a long time. The ADX indicator shows a very high value, like 50 or 60, but then the chart turned and went down. The ADX indicator value is high, yet the ADX line will be pointing downwards at this moment. In such situations, I try to avoid entering trades because it's important to me that the current movement at least maintains its strength. That's why I enter trades not only when the ADX indicator value is above 20, but also when the ADX indicator line is either pointing upwards or is plateauing. And if these 2 conditions are met, then I proceed to look at what is happening on the chart. And then I look at the Supertrend indicator. According to the Supertrend indicator, I just enter trades based on the signals. That is, if the Supertrend indicator gives a sell signal, I enter a down trade. If the Supertrend indicator gives a buy signal, I enter an up trade. The last indicator I pay attention to is the fractal indicator. To enter an up trade, I need the last fractal on the chart to be red and pointing down. If I want to enter a down trade, I need the last fractal on the chart to be green and pointing up. This is exactly a kind of theoretical overview of how I work with this strategy. And now I will try to open trades live, find some suitable market situation, and show how my trading sessions go with this strategy. Right now, I see that the ADX indicator is below the value of 20, which means I definitely cannot enter trades on this chart. And in this case, I just start looking at which currency pairs are available next and where I can enter a trade. So, what do I see here? According to the ADX indicator, we are above the value of 20. At the same time, the line is currently, it's on a plateau. There is an active signal for a down trade, but I can't enter a down trade because the last fractal was red and pointing down. And I need a green fractal pointing up to enter a down trade. So I can't make any trades here. What do I see here? This is what I was talking about. There was a strong downward movement on the chart. the ADX indicator was gaining strength, a reversal occurred, and the ADX indicator still shows the strength of this downward movement. So it would seem the value is above 20, but the line is directed downward. That means that simply right now, the current, or rather the previous down movement is losing its strength. So I need to find some good market situation. Here, I also cannot enter trades. First, I look at the ADX indicator. I can't enter the trade here either, but now I can. The red fractal has disappeared. Now, the last fractal on the chart is green, pointing upwards. There is an active sell signal from the super trend indicator. Also, the ADX indicator is above the value of 20, it is at 30, and its line is pointing upwards. Therefore, I opened a $300 down trade for 1 minute. Now, concerning the trade amount itself, I always stick to one simple rule, regardless of the set of indicators I use. I do not open trades for an amount exceeding 1% of my balance. I'm doing this to cover losses. I understand that my trades can easily end up negative, so to manage losses, I use a doubling strategy. For example, if this trade closes at a loss right now, I'll open the next one with a doubled amount already at $600. And if a trade of $600 closes in profit, it will cover my loss from the down trade of $300, and I'll make a little extra on top. If the $600 trade closes at a loss, I double again, and the next trade I open will be for $1,200. But since my $300 down trade closed in profit, I simply return to the original trade amount of $300. And now I want to find a moment to enter an up trade. Here, it seemed like I could also enter an up trade, but the last fractal was green and pointing up, which means I can't open an up trade. Here the ADX indicator is below the value of 20. Right now, I'm just looking for a suitable chart where I could enter a trade. I am switching between different currency pairs. And what do I see here? The ADX indicator is approximately at the value of 20, but a green fractal has appeared, so I also cannot open an up trade. I need to find some suitable currency pair. There aren't many opportunities to open an up trade right now, so let's see what we have here. The last fractal was green and pointing upwards. Therefore, I can't enter into a trade here. I need a red fractal pointing downwards to enter an up trade. There was also a green fractal here, but according to the ADX indicator, by the way, a very high value, and a red fractal appeared. So as soon as I saw it, I entered an up trade for $300. The super trend indicator is giving a buy signal, and this signal has been active for quite some time. At the same time, there is a clear upward movement here. Well, this is also visible on the ADX indicator. That is, the ADX indicator has been pointing upwards for quite a while, its line is pointing upwards, and at the same time, the current value is 45. So this is quite a high value. The last red fractal was pointing downwards, so I entered the trade. Here's a couple more words about how the fractal indicator works. It doesn't produce fractals on the active candlestick, but about 2 candlesticks back. So, for instance, a fractal appears on this candlestick now, even though it would seem to have appeared when this candlestick opened. Therefore, it's important to understand this characteristic of the indicator's functioning. So, there are a few seconds left, and my trade is closing in profit. I lock in the gain, so there's no point in doubling up. Well, friends, that's the strategy. I hope this video was helpful and interesting for you. I hope you discovered something new. If so, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. I also remind you that everything I show on my channel is just my personal experience. I am not giving financial advice here. I'll be wrapping up my video now. I wish you good luck. Bye.